Hi, thanks for watching my videos. Just want to point out or say a couple things before I start. I'm trying to work on being more consistent with uploading videos and changing some things with my shop and my full-time job where that's going to be more consistent and happening now. Wanted to say a special thank you to my mother. I love you very much. Thank you for watching and all your support. You're the most special, beautiful lady in my life, and I'll always appreciate you. Love you, Mom. So this is my skull American flag design that I do. This particular one I put this red camouflage pattern in it. Pretty popular design. It's about 20, yeah, it's gonna be 20 inches tall by 17 wide. Printing it on matte calendar vinyl by Roland. Normally I do my glossy vinyl by Prism Jet, but I found this roll of matte calendar vinyl, and so glossy or matte isn't going to make a lot of difference here because I'm going to put a glossy overlay laminate on top of this. So having glossy vinyl and glossy laminate really unnecessary for me, for what I do. But that's what I got going on for now. Most of my orders for today are filled, so once that gets done, we'll pull it out and we'll do all the laminating. I do got to let it dry. I generally try to go about 6 hours total. I've pulled them right out of the machine and laminated before, but as a habit now, I do about 5 to 6 hours dry time. So we'll get to it when that's ready. Okay, so all done. Drying time is done. It's a pretty big sheet. I believe I'm about 35 inches, maybe. Something like that. So like I said, I got the smaller skull, 12 by 10, 20 by 17. And then I threw in a couple of these Cowboys script ones. Had a customer order one. Forgot I already had some in stock, but that sells quite a bit, so it'll be okay to have those extra. Now this is for anybody that hasn't seen my other videos. Basically, you need, from that last crop mark, you need 2.5 inches at least. So what I do, I used to get a ruler and I'd put it here and pull it down to 2.5. Anymore, I just kind of eyeball it. That's probably about 3 inches right there. Then I just slide the blade across that metal piece there on the machine. There's that. Okay, so we'll leave the BN20 alone for a moment. Now, this is the part I don't believe I've shown anybody. So this whole sheet here, I'm just going to put it away for a moment. But I do want to measure it, okay? So from there to where I need to go, I'm going to say about 36 inches. Yeah, okay. All right. Now, for my laminate, I've got this 54-inch roll here. Now, I normally don't buy these large rolls, but as I've said before, my supplier sent me the wrong vinyl. They're also supposed to send me 20-inch rolls, but they sent me this big boy here. So let me show you what I do. And I got to set this down to do it, so I might be a little bit over there. Yeah, okay. So, I got this 18-inch ruler, okay. Okay, so I just pull a little bit out here. Now I put this on the end. I hope you can see that. Put that on the end there. Then the ruler's about 18 inches, so I get to about what I think is about 20. And then I just push on it and then I cut. Okay. So I got the 54-inch piece of laminate. Now we know the job's going to be about 36. So I'll line that up over here at the 1 inch. And then let me grab a pen or a marker. And I know here, this is 36, so we're going to go about, I'm just going to put a dot there, okay? All right, so I'm gonna push that up to my 1 inch mark under here, and I know I'm going to 36. So I just put my cutter here on the table, just put it on the 36 inch mark, cut it. Now just knowing that I've how much I'm cutting off here, this is kind of rare for me to do a job this big on one sheet. My excess laminate, I just use a magnet. I got this steel plate on my wall here, and I just use magnets to hold that on. I used to just kind of lay it around, lay it anywhere, but that's a really nice idea. That's where I keep my extra cutting mats for the cameo. Okay, now here's the part I wanted to share. So I've got this ruler right here with a vise just mounted to my table. Now it's mounted at the 1 inch mark. I did that, and I'll show you why I did that. But let me show you. So what I do to make sure this is even, because when I cut it with that blade, it might be a little bit off, right? So I just put that underneath. Make sure the ruler is covering the whole thing. See right there? And then over here. Now what I do is I take this line onto the cutting mat itself, and I line that up so that edge of that vinyl, because I know this edge is straight, and I'm doing this with one hand, so sorry if I'm moving around everywhere. I got to take off one of these vices here. It's in my way. Like I said, I never go that far, and I got this screw right here. I got to get that out of the way. Okay, anyway. You know what? Let me get this real quick. I need both hands. Okay, right there. There is perfect. Okay. So I've got this edge lined up with one of the lines on the grid on the cutting mat, and I came down just past the ruler. Now see how there's not too much right there? Well, over here it gets bigger. So that's the difference in how I cut my laminate over there. So I need to make that a straight edge. So that's what I do. I line it up here, and I know this ruler is straight, so this is going to make a straight line. And this is only because I've got this really big roll of laminate. Okay, so then I just hold it down. Okay, there's that piece there. So now I got a straight edge this way and this way. Now, next thing I do is, now I've marked the table, so there's 18.5 here. Over here I've got 18.5, then I think I got one here for if I don't have to go quite so far. So what I do is I pull down the vinyl, I keep calling the laminate vinyl, sorry. I pull this down to the actual very first line on the grid. Okay. Now this ruler, don't need it anymore, but it's going to kind of be there to hold it down. So that's lined up all the way here. Okay. Now I've got, now I know, since my, lost my breath. Since I know my BN20 is a 20-inch roll, I can only cut up to 18.5 on the job. So this is marked at 18.5, so when I cut that, it'll fit perfectly. I used to actually just cut and measure every single piece when I would do a sheet. This makes production so much better. Okay, now I'm going to put that on that first one. That's on the next one. Okay, so that's where I need to cut the laminate right there. I tend to kind of move up just a tiny bit. Okay. And just carefully cut. When I get down towards the middle, I'll switch my hands. Okay, so by doing that, and I know this, maybe the way I'm explaining it seems kind of complicated. I don't know, maybe. But that makes it so I got a perfect piece. Now I also do the same thing because I have rolls that are 12 inches, no, 14 inches wide. So I know my laminate has to be 12 and a half. So I do the exact same thing, but over here I've got my my marks on the table for that. Okay, see, there's my other one there. So I got a perfect piece of laminate here. All right, let's see. Now we'll put this big ruler away, off to the side, whatever. Let's grab our job. Okay, so now we got to put this sucker on here. Now doing all that stuff, I almost said shit. No, I just said doing all that stuff might create dust, whatever. I always blow off the table. Okay. Pull this out. Okay, now when we lay this down, I want to show you this real quick. So that's going to sit, you can see the crop mark through there. That's going to sit perfectly. You know, we got some space here. Now on this side, the main thing is, okay, there's my crop mark there. There's my crop mark there. The main thing is you want to come just past those crop marks because you know the print isn't going to be past the crop mark all the way down the job. That came out perfect. Perfect piece. I'm perfect here. See that? Got a little bit there. I'm perfect here because I don't want to be right on the edge, but I don't want to be too close. Okay, next thing. I don't know why I'm running out of my breath talking. Next thing though, okay. Now there's two ways that I do my laminate. I'll either peel back, fold the paper down, or sometimes I'll peel back, cut the paper off. I think for this one it's okay to do the fold. I generally, in my earlier videos, you'll notice that I don't like that method too much. To be honest, I'm at the point where either method doesn't really make a lot of difference for me. So, but we're gonna do the fold, okay? So I peeled it back and I'm gonna just fold it. I'm gonna crease that paper. Now, don't let the paper hit the job. Now I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna go just past that crop mark on both sides, and now I know it's not gonna extend past on the other side. Now I carefully pat it. At that point, I don't try to run, you know, my hand across. Then I'll take my roller. This kind of creases that paper, which will make it a little easier to grab. Generally. All right. That is ready to be ran through the laminator. The laminator. You see I'm moving tools around everywhere. I actually got this little cart here to kind of keep my rolls of transfer tape on. I used to keep them on the end of the table, and see, I still do it with some. All right, so now that I've got everything ready to go, I'll just put it in. I always come from this side over here, to be honest. Okay, and I just kind of tap it in there, make sure that that's flush inside. Now I got my rollers pretty tight because I use them to press down my transfer tape on the die cut decals. So I roll back and just try to give it even pressure, just enough where it's going to hold it, but it's not going to squeeze too hard. And then we bring this back like so. Then I blow off again. Trust me, even if you think it's clean, you're gonna get debris in there if you're not careful. Okay, so now I hold this back like so. I'm gonna roll the rollers just a little bit, like that. Now underneath here, right under here, I'm gonna grab the job there, and I'm gonna pull this while I'm pulling back on the paper. But I need both hands, so I hope you follow me. Okay, so I'm holding the job, pulling it back. Now if you have your rollers too tight, you're going to start to get your job to crease up, and that's going to be really bad. Now I did go kind of slow. Normally, I mean, you can go faster. I just went slow for the video. But I want to show you something here. So I'm going to run this back through. Okay, so I'm going to tighten the rollers a lot tighter. This is why you don't want to have them too tight. See how that's kind of bowing right there? See, look at that. I mean, that can get really, really bad. So that's why you don't want them too tight, especially when you're putting on your first run of your laminate. I like to kind of run them through. I'll tighten them just a little bit more and just kind of give it another go like that. Probably don't have to do that, but I do it for my own peace of mind. Okay, and like I said, this is 36 inches. You know, I don't normally I try to keep them about 20 inches because I do sell a lot of small stickers, but 20 inches is usually the max that I go. Maybe for fun, I'll try to do like a 40 inch, but I'm going to show you why I don't like to. And this could just be because of my setup here. Alright, so like I've said in other videos, what I do is after I load the material in, I put my fingers on the crop marks and I kind of move them around till they get into that little divot where the cutting strip is, and then I go all the way over and then just tad bit back, just a tiny bit, just so it's not like pressed up against that flange in there. So let's load it. And this machine needs to be clean, buddy. Okay, so I got my fingers on the crop marks, and then tap over, hear it, and then just back, just a tiny bit. I push the guard over. Make sure you always have that guard pushed over. Sometimes I loaded it once and I forgot to do that, and the job got all jacked up in there. Okay. Now, while that is measuring the material, we're going to go up to our VersaWorks. I'm going to click on it. Now, since this job's so big, I'm going to kind of babysit it a little bit as it's cutting. And I've already set my cut only settings. I've got return to origin after cut, cutting conditions. Just because of where my blade is right now, I've got my cutting force at 45, and that's still kind of pressing. And it's weird because when I take my blade out, that blade is barely poking out of the bottom there, so I'm not sure. And I'm gonna hit print. Now this is what I mean by babysitting. I'm going to show you why. So we're going to let it read the crop marks. Crop mark number 2. Now watch how far this job comes out down here. And see, even that weight from that could be maybe pull it out. I don't know how much pressure the wheels put, but this is why. I just hold it back here, make sure it comes up over. I'd really like a long flat table for this to be on, which I have. I just haven't put it on one yet. And that's it, man. It's cutting. It's going to take a minute. So as it cuts more further back and it starts moving things around, this material might catch that roll I've got back there and kind of bow up. Now I had a job do that once, and it almost, well, it caused itself to kind of push as it was cutting, and then the job kind of went crooked. So that's why I don't like it to catch onto that material and then bow out. So these really bigger ones, I definitely watch that. If I'm cutting a job that's only, say, 10 inches big, then I'll just take that whole roll out and just let it do what it's got to do. But that's it. So after this is done cutting, not sure if anybody's interested, but I'll film the weeding. This is where I'm talking about. See how that material wants to bump up to that roll? Sometimes it'll go under it, but sometimes it'll catch it and just roll itself, and then it pushes on the job as it's cutting. But this one so far is not too bad. It might be because it's a lot bigger, but everything's going smooth. So we'll go ahead and pull this out when it's done. Yeah, there we go. So I kind of wanted you guys to see the way I'm cutting the material here. There we go. Yeah, see how? Yeah, so it's going under, which is good, but yeah. So yeah, we're about there though. Okay, it's all done. I got the beep saying we are good. Now when I pull that latch, this whole job's gonna drop, so I need to hurry and catch it. Oh, yeah. Usually I have both hands, but you know. Now before I remove this in the software, because VersaWorks is pretty much done, I always check, make sure. Look at that. Cut beautifully, and I mean, I couldn't ask for a nicer cut. You can see that I do have the bleed on the stars. If you don't add a little bit of bleed, you're possibly going to get some white around the edges, but man, this turned out nice. So let's go ahead and finish weeding it, then we'll check it out. Okay, so everything everything cut fine after the print cut. Well, not print cut, after the cut. My machine, when I do a straight print cut, it always spits out the job out the back when it's time to cut. I don't know why. I haven't really worked on a solution yet because I don't do a lot of print cut. Heat transfer is one where I would normally do a print cut, but I tend to take it out and reload it and then do the cut with heat transfer. But yeah, look at that. Everything's coming up nice. Alright, so there's my big old piece of scrap. I'm kind of doing something a little weird here. I am creating me a vinyl ball. I've seen another guy doing it on another YouTube channel, but I want to see how big I can make that ball. Okay, these are all done. That one's done. This one I got to do the stars, but this stupid camera keeps shutting off, so I'm gonna try to make it quick, but I'm just going to tape this one up, and we'll transfer mask it, then I'll pick it up, make sure everything comes up good, and then from that point I'll roll it up, ship it out. But like I said, that one's all good. So what I'm going to do, since I put transfer tape, instead of cutting these out individually, I'm just going to run the transfer mask over the whole thing. Even sometimes I don't put it on these little cowboy ones, but I kind of have been, just because there's these little dangly parts. I think it makes it easier for the customer to install. Alright, so we are going to put the transfer tape down. Okay, so I get my big roll. Alright. Remove the job. I'm just going to unroll what I need here. I'll just kind of place my hand down at the edge, like so. Okay. All right. Now, normally I like to cut off almost up to the design, the graphic, just so I know where to stop. Don't really have to here, but okay. So we're gonna just drop it down about there. Leave it kind of bowed up here. That way you can kind of just run your hand across. And then I just take my squeegee Now always check, make sure everything's weeded. I can already tell that I forgot one of the teeth on this skull, but that's no big deal. It's unfortunate, but it'll be easy to get that out. Okay. I always just rub the back, try to get everything out that I can that way. And then we flip her over. Yeah, you can see this tooth right here. Be careful if you're putting laminate on your BO20 laminated jobs, because they do bulge up a little bit, and if you're going too fast, you're going to catch it, you're going to snag it into the actual design. Now I'll save this for another job. I do a lot of small lettering projects, things like that. I know I have a customer, a viewer is waiting for me to do a video on how I price my stickers and whatnot, and I haven't forgot about you. I'm still making that. For that one, I actually need to kind of write down some things. So, but I'm working on it. Okay, there's that one. So what I'll do is I'll roll it up, but normally I ship these in a 2-inch mailing tube. These ones are going to go in a 3-inch, just because you don't want to crease them up too much by rolling them. Now another thing I do is I'll put after I put the transfer mask over it, I'll throw it in my cold laminator, and that just gives it a nice smooth, you know, just pass on that, whatever you didn't get with the squeegee. But we still got to get this tooth out. Remember the tooth? So we're just going to pick up this corner here. Boom, real easy. See that? Okay. But this one, to answer the customer's question, so I'm 20 inches by 17, right? So there is a lot that goes into it. I generally charge the highest inch width, so 20 inches, $20. But you got to remember, you're going to pay about $4 to $6 to ship this to the customer. So this particular one here, I'll sell it for about, I believe, $24.99. So you're roughly making about $18. That also includes the cost of material and ink and whatnot, but yeah, roughly about, I would just round it down to 15. So I'm actually only making $15 on this. It's not bad. I mean, I've seen similar designs for sale on the platforms for up to $40. So sell your stuff what you think it's worth, you know. But yeah, I'll cut these out, do the same thing, pack them and ship them. That's about it for this one. Thanks for watching. On to the next one.